This is the unfolding story of the Ukraine war in late 2025, a narrative steeped in the stark realities of the battlefield and the fragile hopes of diplomacy, now perhaps redefined by a new call for a summit far to the north. For nearly 4 years, the war in Ukraine has scarred the land and etched itself into the hearts of its people. Cities, once vibrant and bustling, bear the deep wounds of missile strikes. Fields, once golden with wheat, are now scarred by trenches and mines. Every day brings new reports of drones buzzing overhead, artillery thundering across front lines, and the quiet, agonizing loss of life. Yet, amidst this grinding attrition, the spirit of Ukraine remains unbroken, its resolve hardened by sacrifice. President Zelensky, a figure of unwavering defiance, continues to rally his nation, reminding the world of their fundamental right to sovereignty and peace on their own terms. Then, a new wind began to stir through the corridors of international power. With a change in the White House, the global dynamic shifted, bringing with it a declared intent to quickly de-escalate the conflict and find a swift path to peace. This new approach, direct and unburdened by past diplomatic intricacies, quickly turned attention to a potential high-stakes encounter. The idea began to circulate, a face-to-face meeting between the leaders of the United States and Russia, and the proposed location, not a traditional European capital steeped in history and protocol, but a place far more stark and symbolic, Alaska. Imagine the discussions behind closed doors, the whispers among foreign policy advisors, as the notion of an Alaska summit gained traction. It was a bold, almost theatrical suggestion, a neutral, distant ground, a place of icy beauty and immense scale, far removed from the heated political theatres of Europe. For some, it symbolized a fresh start, an opportunity to cut through layers of bureaucracy and confront the core issues directly. For others, it evoked a sense of uncertainty, a high-risk gamble that could either pave the way for a breakthrough or lead to a dangerous miscalculation. The world watched, fascinated and wary, as the possibility of such a meeting began to take concrete shape. But even as these grand diplomatic overtures were discussed, the voice of Ukraine remained clear and resolute. President Zelensky, ever vigilant, was unequivocal. While the prospect of dialogue with Russia was not outright rejected, indeed Ukraine has always sought an end to the fighting, there were non-negotiable red lines. He firmly reiterated that Ukraine would not be a passive subject in any peace discussions. Any genuine peace, he insisted, must be rooted in the restoration of Ukraine's territorial integrity within its internationally recognized borders. This meant no concessions on occupied territories, no deals made over the heads of the Ukrainian people. Ukraine, he stressed, must be at the table, its voice heard, its future determined by its own sovereign will. This stance resonated deeply within Ukraine, where the idea of surrendering land gained through immense suffering was unthinkable. Russia, for its part, also signaled a willingness for dialogue, yet with its own familiar preconditions. While the exact terms remained somewhat veiled, the expectation was clear. Any talk of a ceasefire or a peace deal would likely involve recognition of its claims over Ukrainian territories it had illegally annexed. This fundamental disagreement, a clash of non-negotiable positions, highlighted the immense chasm that any Alaska summit would have to bridge. Meanwhile, the war raged on. Missile attacks continued to strike Ukrainian cities, even as diplomatic chatter filled the airwaves. Drones still crisscrossed the sky, and the battle for every meter of land remained fierce. The human cost, the daily toll of lives, injuries, and displacement served as a stark, grim reminder that while politicians deliberated, Ordinary people were still enduring the brutal realities of armed conflict. Families mourned, communities rebuilt, and soldiers fought, their resolve tested daily against overwhelming odds. Amidst these complex maneuvers, NATO and other international allies maintained their dual approach, cautiously open to dialogue that could genuinely lead to peace, yet unwavering in their support for Ukraine. Statements from European leaders and NATO officials emphasized that while every effort for a peaceful resolution should be explored, it must not come at the expense of Ukraine's sovereignty or the fundamental principles of international law. They continue to supply vital military aid, economic assistance, and humanitarian support, recognizing that Ukraine's strength on the battlefield provided leverage at the negotiating table. The stakes of any potential peace deal were astronomically high. For Ukraine, it was about its very existence as a free nation. For Russia, it was about its geopolitical ambitions and its standing on the world stage. And for the international community, it was about the future of global security, the sanctity of national borders, and the precedent such a resolution would set for conflicts to come. The idea of a ceasefire, a long hoped-for cessation of hostilities, hovered tantalizingly yet elusively on the horizon. As discussions about the Alaska summit continued to swirl, a palpable sense of uncertainty gripped the world. Would this unique diplomatic gambit yield a genuine path to a just and lasting peace, or would it prove to be another fleeting hope quickly extinguished by intractable differences? The complex dance of power, principle, and pragmatism plays out on the world stage, with the lives and future of millions hanging in the balance. The path ahead remains shrouded in the mists of geopolitical complexity, yet the enduring hope for a lasting peace, however fragile, continues to flicker. If this story of high-stakes diplomacy and unwavering resilience has informed your understanding of the current global landscape, please consider showing your support. We would be grateful if you could like this video, share it with your network to keep important conversations alive, and subscribe to our channel to stay informed about these crucial world events. Your engagement helps us bring these stories to a wider audience. Thank you for watching.